to right. Pitch number 70 is sent left field side towards the line, looking up, and that one's gone. His second home run of the day.
Makes a great play for his pitcher.
Welcome back to the Michael Maher Show. Today is Tuesday, September 27th, 2022. That's episode 89, and I'm joined by Jared Dickey, baseball player for the University of Tennessee. It's an absolute honor getting to interview you, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me on. I'm excited.
Of course, man. And we were just saying a little bit before we started, you guys have an absolute squad this year at Tennessee. You're one of the top-ranked teams heading into this season. What would you say excites you most about this upcoming season with the boys?
Well, really, the most exciting thing to me so far has been just seeing how the freshmen are. I mean, we have a lot of really mature freshmen that I think are going to get some valuable playing time. So it's been really exciting just seeing them progress from where they were when they first got here in the summer to now. I mean, they've made huge strides already, so I'm pumped to see that.
What you say, like ring chasing? That's for sure the number one goal on everyone's mind this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we want to get through the regular season first, but I mean, postseason's where it really matters. So whenever it comes to that time, then I just need that squad to be ready to go.
Yeah. So what are some things that you do like as a team to kind of like build team chemistry with the new freshmen you just said like come in?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends. I mean, sometimes we'll have some group gatherings outside of baseball, and then obviously like on off days, on like a Wednesday, we'll get together and have kangaroo court, and we'll mess around in that, and it just really builds us closer together. And today we actually had our first scrimmage, so that was really good, just getting to see the guys and like how they interacted together on the field. It's just a completely different group from last year, but I feel like we're bonding really well so far.
Do those team scrimmages ever get like really competitive?
Oh yeah. I mean, today was our first one. It was already extremely competitive, and it's just going to keep going up from here.
So since you started playing at Tennessee a couple years ago, what would you say is your overall favorite part of, playing D1 baseball?
Golly, that's actually such a tough question. I mean, probably just getting to experience some of the things that I know other people don't get to experience, like going to the SEC tournament. That was awesome. And then we played in Houston last year as well. Just getting to go to places like that and really just trying to soak it all in. It's been really exciting.
So would you say that's your favorite memory so far that you made is the SEC tournament play?
Yeah, probably.
So through SEC tournament play, obviously I feel like you'd say Tennessee has the best home crowd, but what are some cool environments you've been able to play in your young career so far?
Oh my goodness. Oxford, Mississippi. That place was insane. So yeah, because I think we came in ranked number 5 that weekend. They were obviously ranked number 1. And we kind of gave it to them for those 3 days, and the fans were very, very hostile. So it was a lot of fun.
You were 2-time SEC Freshman of the Week last season. Which areas of your game have you really worked on this offseason that you're excited to showcase this season?
Yeah, so actually I played left field for most of the year last year, and this entire summer I kind of grounded behind the plate. So I think I'm going to be behind the plate. I'll be our everyday catcher, hopefully. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but that's probably the biggest part of my game that I've changed.
So did you play catcher in high school?
No, I actually didn't catch it all in high school. And probably the last time I caught pretty regularly was, I want to say 5th or 6th grade. So it's been a while since I did that, and kind of got into it a little bit last year, caught 4 or 5 games throughout the year. But yeah, this year it's going to ramp up a lot.
So what, when coaching staff or you guys talked about you becoming the catcher this year, what are some things that you really had to focus on to become a better catcher?
Yeah, it was really just getting more comfortable behind the plate. I mean, obviously when you have guys like Chase Dollander and Chase Burns throwing 98 to 100, you have to breathe behind the plate. And what I would do last year, just not being used to it, I'd tense up a lot. So just being loose behind the plate and just being able to, just work through each pitch. So those were the biggest areas that I had to improve on.
And not just catcher, but every position you play as a utility player. What were some big jumps that you noticed from the high school level when you started playing at Tennessee?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously in the outfield, everybody just gets good reads. Like last year playing with Drew and Jordan, every single ball that was hit, I mean, their first step was just bang right there. So that was really impressive to see, and just having to learn from those 2 guys. I'd say that's probably one of the biggest differences that I've seen so far.
Do you have aspirations? I know it's way down the line, but to play in the MLB?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's every kid's dream, and luckily, I'm trying to live mine out right now. So hopefully, we
Yeah.
can get there one day.
So what is your like what are a few dream goals that you have for yourself throughout college and ultimately in the pros? I know that's like way down the line, but what are some things you love to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first off, I'd love to get my degree. I mean, obviously, having a degree from Tennessee would be awesome. And then, like we just talked about, playing in MLB is probably the biggest goal that I have. It's something that I've worked for my entire life, and it's something that I'm going to continue to work for. So that's probably my biggest goal.
Are there any players in the league that are either like currently playing or retired that you kind of look up to, or not necessarily look up to, but like mold your game after?
Yeah, absolutely. Chipper Jones. He's been my guy ever since I laid my eyes on him, to be honest. I've kind of modeled my swing after him, just modeled the way that he plays the game. He was just always flatline. So he's my guy.
We'll go into your academic career. You're majoring in recreation and sports management, SEC academic honor roll. How do you manage your time between school, sports, and your social life?
So we actually have an academic advisor. Her name's Megan Anderson, and she's probably the best in the business. She really helps us out a lot, like because she knows we have long days at the field, like I was telling you, and she'll just give us like text reminders saying like, "Hey, you have this due at this, like you have this due at this time," and she's really helpful with that stuff. But I mean, another part of it is like we have to study at home and we have to do all that stuff too. So really, to be honest, we really don't have much of a social life. But that's kind of what we signed up for. So as long as all of our guys buy into that culture, then I think everybody's going to do fine in the classroom.
Yeah. So what's like an average day in the day in the life for you?
Yeah, so I'll wake up around 7:30, take a shower, head to the campus, and then I'll get breakfast. We had a place called Smokies. It's for the athletes. So get breakfast there, head to class, do a little bit of study hall hours, and then right after that, headed back to Smokies, get lunch, and then head to the field. And pretty much from it just kind of depends, 1 to whenever we get done, and then come home, homework, shower, and then hit the bed, do it again.
So going back to your high school career, have you kind of always had a rigid schedule, like where it's centered around baseball, where like you go to school and then you come home and it's training, even if it's in the off season?
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to a small private school in Lebanon, Tennessee, actually, Friendship Christian. And pretty much, I mean, my day was always centered around baseball. Obviously, like the classroom is important. I don't want people to get that twisted, but baseball is the reason that I'm here, and baseball is the reason that I was there. So yeah, just always getting your work in and focusing more on that. It's always been really important.
So being from Tennessee, was playing D1 baseball at the University of Tennessee always a dream of yours?
Believe it or not, it actually was not. I was an Alabama fan my entire life, and actually had a scholarship offer to go there. So having to make that decision between those two was pretty tough. But Coach V and the coaching staff here, I mean, they just made it a world of a difference, and it was pretty much an easy decision to come here.
So how like what was that recruitment process like for you? Like when you toured the campus, was it really hard to, I know you said it was really hard to choose between, but what was like kind of the turning factor for you?
Yeah, I mean, there were a few different things. Obviously, like Alabama's a little further away from home, so I like that about Tennessee. I mean, my parents can come up here every single weekend, see every single game, so that was a huge factor for it. And then, like I said, I mean, just the way the coaching staff made me feel and how I saw them treating my family, it was just top notch. It was something that I didn't experience at any other places. So, I mean, they just set themselves apart by doing that.
And was going to Friendship Christian School, is that a primarily like baseball school or like sports school?
I mean, I'd say so. Yeah, our football team and our baseball team have been like elite for the past, I don't even know, probably I'm going to say 7, 8 years now. So I mean, it's just we have really good coaches there, and they know what they're doing. So
Do they send a lot of guys Power Five from there?
I'm not going to say a lot, but they send a lot of guys to college. So whenever I don't have homework and don't have to study, I like just hanging out downstairs with my roommates and stuff. And then if we get off, like we have an off day or something, a few of our boys will go either golfing or fishing, just something like that to, just get time away from baseball. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And dude, Tennessee has a fire football team this year. You guys got a really good home schedule too.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, you had Florida last week. I don't know who you play this week, but I know you got Alabama the following week and like Kentucky. Like it's stacked. So do you go to a lot of sporting events at Tennessee?
Yeah, I try to go to every single football game that I can. So luckily this year I've been able to go to every single one. I think we have an off week coming up, and then we play at LSU, and then actually you're right, we play at LSU this week, and then Bama the next week. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's gonna be fire, dude.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
And that was the other school that you were choosing between.
Oh yeah. So I have a feeling that Neyland will be pretty electric whenever they come into town.
Yeah, are you tight with some of the other athletes at the school?
Yeah, for sure. I actually took a class last year called Vol Leaders, and it's just a group of athletes that are trying to improve their leadership skills. So I got close to a lot of different people from a lot of different teams on campus.
That's cool, man. To hear you, like, you sound like you have your head on straight, obviously, but like school is a big priority of yours. Is that school has always been like a giant priority, or is that something that as you've gotten older, you've kind of focused more on?
It's kind of something as I've gotten older, I focus more on it. Obviously in high school, like it was a priority, but I didn't focus on it like I should have. And then just coming here and realizing like my main focus is like just trying to get my education, because you never know what can happen with baseball. I mean, one little thing, you can be out. So yeah, just getting my education has probably been a priority for, I'd say, the top priority for like 3 years now.
And you said obviously you want to play in the MLB, but let's say like 15, 20 years down the line with your education, what's a career path that you'd really like to go down?
I mean, something that I've always wanted to do is just stay in sport. So I'd like to stay in baseball or just have like an athletic director job somewhere. I just feel like that's something that I would enjoy.
Would you ever think about like getting into like coaching or becoming a trainer or anything like that?
Goodness gracious, that's actually a tough question, because I just see how hard Coach V and our whole coaching staff works. So, golly, I mean, they put themselves through the ringer, and they don't really get a lot of family time either. So, it'd be a big commitment, but I think it is something in the future that I could see myself doing.
So what's the gap? So like you guys have the, off season workouts and stuff, and then you ramp up to get ready for the season, then postseason. But how much time do you have of like free time throughout the year? Like once the season's done?
Once the season's done, so pretty much we probably took 2 weeks off of baseball after we lost our last game. And then kind of just like slowly got into it from there, because obviously in the summer, you don't need to be doing too much after a long season. And then I'd say like early August is when we probably need to start ramping it up and get ready for scrimmages. Like I said, we had our first one today. So, I mean, pretty much from early August to now, we've been training to get ready for that day. Obviously, our pitchers have their throwing programs, all that. And hitters, we have 2 different machines in our cages. They're called spin ball machines. I think they're like $15,000 machines that can mimic every single pitch. Like
that's sick, dude.
Yeah, if I wanted to hit against Max Scherzer, then I could type in his numbers and his spin rate and everything, and I could have a net bat against him.
That's wild, dude. I've never heard anything like that. The only thing I've ever done is like those batting cages that are like the side of like driving ranges and stuff.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So what's like your favorite part of practice or training? I mean, that machine sounds sick, but like what are some things you really enjoy doing?
So probably my favorite thing, honestly, and people would be shocked to hear me say this, but we do a thing called fly ball communication at the field, and we're blaring EDM music like as loud as the speakers can go. So, I mean, like they'll hit fly balls here, there, everywhere. And I mean, you have to scream your lungs out so people can hear you calling for the ball, because I mean, if you don't, then you're going to run into somebody. Today, actually, I had an instance where somebody hit a foul ball, and I was catching. So I had to go down the line and direct them like wherever they were going to go, if they were close to the wall, if they weren't. And I looked up and the sun's right there. So I literally just couldn't see anything. And I just had to take a guess. So that's a big thing. And I'd probably say like the lights and the sun, those are the 2 toughest things in baseball.
And you're going to be a catcher this year, but as a utility player in the past, what's like your favorite position to play on the field? If you have,
I mean, I've loved playing center field. Every single time I go out there, it's really fun. But obviously, we've got a few other guys that probably have a little bit better speed than I do, so they'll hold down that position.
Yeah, and obviously, I feel like you like hitting. You had back-to-back home runs in the Ole Miss game, and which I was actually surprised. How did you not get SEC Freshman of the Week for that game too?
Well, if you went back and watched that game, you'd watch our freshman Chase Burns last year, and he threw the lights out of the ball. I think that was probably one of the most electric outings I've ever seen from somebody. So he got it that week, and it was well deserved for him.
Is that something you expected, was getting like a lot of playing time, or like freshmen getting a lot of playing time on your team last year? Or was that something that like throughout the season you just progressed and built yourself into that role?
It was something that like I kind of progressed and built myself into that role. But I knew from the jump that Chase was going to get a lot of innings because that guy's just so talented, and he's always just had that demeanor about him to just go out and get what he wants.
Dude, hey, I really appreciate your time. This was an awesome episode, getting to this interview with you. But before you go, I have one question that I always ask my guests at the end of the show is what is one piece of advice that you would give to everyone watching or listening? It could really just be like any type of advice.
Yeah, absolutely. So personally, I struggled with mental health for many years and didn't get any help. So I'd say like just talk to somebody whenever you're feeling down, or if you just like need a shoulder to cry on or just let stuff out. Just always talk to somebody and don't hold it in because it can really affect you in the long run.
Scroll down below, follow Jared on social media, Instagram at jared.dickey, Twitter at jared_dickey3. Is there any other, websites or anything people can find you at?
No, I think you just said them. So yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome. Well, like I said, Jared, thank you very much for joining me on this episode. Today was Tuesday, September 27th, 2022, episode 89 of the Michael Maher Show. I was joined by Jared Dickey, baseball player for the University of Tennessee. I'm your host of the show, Michael Maher, and I'll see everyone next week.